Every year in the US, thousands of strange ride-share incidents get reported, passengers vanishing mid-ride, or drivers claiming they picked up someone who was never there. What if one of those stories wasn't just a glitch, but real? Tonight, I'm going to tell you the terrifying story of a late-night Uber ride that ended with a chilling discovery. It's not just urban legend. It's based on a real case that remains unexplained to this day. It was close to 2 a.m. in Los Angeles. A young Uber driver named Alex had just finished a trip and was about to log off for the night. He was exhausted, but then a final ping came in. A rider named Claire requesting a pickup from a quiet street near Griffith Park. The map showed it was only a short ride. Easy money, Alex accepted. When he arrived, a young woman in her mid-20s stepped out from the shadows. She was pale, with dark hair that hung over her face. She didn't speak much, just slid into the back seat and said softly, "Downtown, please." Something about her voice made Alex's stomach tighten, but he brushed it off. As they drove, Alex tried making small talk, where she was coming from if she'd been out with friends, but she didn't answer. She just stared out the window, whispering to herself, almost like she was repeating something. The car grew cold, even though the heater was on. Alex glanced in the rearview mirror, and for a second, he thought her reflection didn't move when she did. He blinked, shook his head, and kept driving. Probably just exhaustion. Then he noticed something even stranger. On his Uber app, the ride had already been marked as completed, even though they hadn't reached the destination. When they finally reached the downtown address, Alex pulled over and said, "We're here." No response. He turned around. The back seat was empty. Panic shot through him. He swore he saw her there the entire ride. He could still smell her perfume, still see the faint fog of her breath on the window. But the door hadn't opened. The child locks were on, and there was no way she could have slipped out. His heart hammered. He unlocked the doors and jumped out, checking the street, deserted, just silence, and the buzz of a flickering streetlight. When he checked his app again, the ride history showed something impossible. No record of a passenger named Claire. Shaking, Alex drove straight home, convinced exhaustion had made him hallucinate. But when he opened the backseat door to clean his car, his blood ran cold. There was a single item left on the seat. A driver's license. The name read, Claire Matthews. But the issue date was from 1982, and the photo on the license, it matched the woman he had just picked up, down to the same pale skin, the same dark hair. Alex later searched the name online. Claire Matthews had been reported missing after leaving a party near Griffith Park in 1983. Her body was never found. Alex quit driving for Uber after that night. He never explained to his friends why, but he still swears. Someone was in his backseat, someone who never should have been there. And to this day, drivers in Los Angeles still report picking up a quiet girl named Claire who vanishes before they reach her stop. What do you think? Was Claire's spirit looking for a final ride home? Or was it something darker? Have you ever experienced something terrifying on a late night ride? Every year in the US, babysitters report strange, unexplained encounters while watching children alone at night. What if one of those chilling calls wasn't just a prank, but a warning? Tonight's story takes us to a quiet American suburb where a teenage babysitter thought she was in for an easy night. Instead, she answered a call that turned into her worst nightmare. It was a Friday evening in the fall of 1997 in a small town in Ohio. 17-year-old Kelly had been hired by the Richardson family to watch their two young kids while the parents went out for dinner. She was a responsible girl, honor roll student, and babysitting was her normal weekend gig. The Richardsons left around 7 p.m., telling her the kids were already asleep upstairs. Easy money. Kelly settled onto the couch with her homework and a bowl of popcorn. Around 8:30, the phone rang. Kelly answered. A raspy voice on the other end whispered, "Have you checked the children?" She froze. "Who is this?" Click. The line went dead. At first, Kelly laughed it off. Maybe one of her friends prank calling. But 10 minutes later, the phone rang again. The same voice. "You really should check on the children." Her skin prickled. She slammed the phone down, checked the locks on the doors, and tried to calm herself. But the calls kept coming, sometimes silence, sometimes heavy breathing, and always the same haunting phrase. "Have you checked the children?" Kelly finally called the restaurant where the Richardsons were eating, but the line was busy. She didn't want to scare them, so she hesitated. Then the phone rang again. Only this time, the voice wasn't whispering. It was louder, angrier. "Why won't you check on them?" Terrified, Kelly dialed 911. The dispatcher told her to stay calm. Keep the caller on the line as long as possible, and they'd try to trace it. Minutes dragged by. Then the phone rang again. Kelly picked it up with shaking hands. "Why are you doing this?" she cried. The voice chuckled. "Because they're not asleep, Kelly. They're watching you." Her blood ran cold. The dispatcher suddenly came back on the line. "Kelly, listen carefully. We traced the call. It's coming from inside the house. Get out, now." Kelly dropped the phone and bolted for the front door, heart pounding so hard it felt like it would burst. She grabbed the knob, twisted, locked. Behind her, she heard a floorboard creak upstairs, then tiny footsteps, and then laughter, the sound of children's laughter echoing down the staircase. Kelly spun around and saw two small figures at the top of the stairs. The Richardson kids, except their eyes looked wrong, too wide, too dark, like something was staring through them instead of out of them, and standing behind them, half hidden in the shadows, was a tall man, his face pale, almost glowing, with a wide grin that stretched too far. He raised a finger to his lips. "Shh!" Kelly screamed, unlocked the door, and ran into the street. When police arrived minutes later, they searched the entire house. The children were tucked into their beds, sound asleep. No intruder was ever found. But Kelly swears to this day, what she saw on those stairs wasn't human. Would you have had the courage to go upstairs? Or would you have run the second you heard the first call? Millions of people in the US check their phones before bed every night. But what if the last message you saw wasn't from the person you thought, but something else entirely? Tonight's story is about a college student who thought she was just chatting with her roommate. Instead, she opened the door to a nightmare that came straight through her screen. The first message. It was finals week at a college in Pennsylvania. Emma, a 19-year-old freshman, had stayed late at the library cramming for exams. Around midnight, she finally headed back to her dorm. Her roommate, Sophie, had gone home for the weekend, so Emma had the place to herself. She climbed into bed, scrolled through Instagram, and was just about to sleep when a notification popped up on her phone. Sophie typing, "Hey, are you still awake?" Emma frowned. She knew Sophie was at her parents' house over 200 miles away. "Yeah, just about to crash." "What's up?" she replied. The typing bubble appeared, then stopped, then appeared again. Finally, a message came through. "Don't go to sleep yet. I need to tell you something important." Emma sat up, suddenly alert. "What's wrong?" she typed back. Long pause, then, "There's someone in your room." Her heart skipped. She immediately looked around the dark dorm room. The desk, the closet, the corner by the window, empty. "You're messing with me," Emma typed, forcing a laugh. "No joke. Check under your bed." Her hands trembled as she leaned over, pulling up the blanket. "Nothing, just boxes and shoes." She quickly texted back, "You're freaking me out." Stop. But Sophie's account replied instantly, "I can see him. He's standing right behind you." Emma's blood froze. Slowly she turned. Nothing. Just her desk and the glow of her laptop. Convinced it was some cruel prank, Emma grabbed her phone and video called Sophie. After a few rings, the screen went black. But then the camera opened. Except it wasn't Sophie. The video showed Emma's dorm room, her bed, her desk, her own back as she sat there holding her phone. like someone else in the room was filming her. Emma dropped the phone, her breath coming fast and shallow. The typing bubble appeared again. Then the message, "He's closer now." Her phone suddenly buzzed with a new notification from Instagram itself. User Sophie has been offline for 2 days. Emma's stomach dropped. Whoever she'd been talking to, it wasn't Sophie. The final message appeared on her screen, as if written by someone watching her every move. "Don't bother running. I'm already inside." Just then, her laptop camera's green light flicked on, and Emma heard the faint creak of her closet door opening. Emma's screams woke her dorm neighbors. When campus security arrived, they found her phone shattered on the floor, her laptop still recording, but Emma was gone. The footage ended with a single line typed across the chat window. "Offline, but still watching. Would you keep texting if a friend's account warned you someone was in your room? Or would you run the second you saw that camera glitch? Tell me in the comments. And don't forget to check out my other stories that'll make you think twice before checking your phone at night."